Happy Thursday, everybody. Today we're going to be taking a look at ray tracing on transparent objects and specifically focused on refraction. So you can see I've got my subway test scene here, and I've added this nice glass sculpture to the test scene. This is one of the default objects that comes with the test content with Unreal, so everybody can grab this and follow along if they'd like. Right now, this is using traditional methods for refraction, and I'm going to show you today how to use ray tracing to get much more realistic looking results on glass that does refraction. So the first thing that we're going to do is take a look at the material that's applied to this object, and we're going to make some edits to the material so that it works well with ray traced refraction. Okay, so this material is called statue glass, and I'm just going to switch over to the material here, and the first thing that we need to do is change the two-sided option to on, and this is going to make our glass two-sided. When we do refraction, light enters the object in the front and gets bent, and then it exits the object somewhere in the back and gets bent again. And so in order to correctly simulate this refraction, our object needs to be two-sided. Now, generally, if you're not using ray traced translucent objects, if you turn two-sided on, there's a risk that you can get sorting artifacts. And so the transparency doesn't sort with itself correctly, and you see the wrong things through the backside of the glass. So if you're not using ray tracing for translucent objects, it's best to keep two-sided off. But when you're doing ray tracing, you want to turn two-sided on so that you can get more realistic results. Okay, now we're just going to kind of take a look at this shader from the top down. Oh, there's one more setting that we need to make sure is on, and that's this lighting mode. We need to set lighting mode to surface translucency volume in order for our transparent and refraction techniques to work correctly. Alright, so now we're going to just take a look at the material kind of going from top to bottom. The first setting that we're going to look at is this metallic, and it's set to 0.9. Now we know that glass isn't metal, but I believe that this default shader was set to 0.9 so that the reflections would be brighter. We're going to do a little bit of experimenting with this setting once we get back into our test scene. So I'm going to convert this to a parameter, and I'm going to name my parameter metallic. And this way we'll be able to play around with this metallic setting to kind of tune the reflections that we want. Normally this is a parameter that you wouldn't want to expose, but this is just to make it easier for this tutorial so that we can play with these settings. All right, the next setting that we're going to look at is specular, and this is probably for the refraction effect. This is probably the most important setting here. Currently, our specular is exposed as a parameter and set to a default value of 10. And this is kind of silly because the highest this value is allowed to go inside the root is 1. And so we need to tone this down, obviously. But the other really important thing to understand about refraction in glass or other translucent objects is this value here is going to be used for how much refraction to apply. And so we need to figure out when light hits this surface, how much is that light ray going to be bent when it enters. And the way that we do that is we're going to look up this website that lists the indices of refraction of various materials. So here's the index of refraction for air. And down here we have the index of refraction for crown glass. And we need to do a little bit of math because our ray starts out in the medium of air and then it enters the medium of glass. And we have to divide the one by the other. So we're going to take the refraction index of air, which is 1.000293, and we're going to divide it by the refraction index of glass, which is 1.5. And here we get a value, let's just round it a little bit, 0.667, let's say. And so this is the value that we're going to need to pass into the specular to get the correct refraction for glass. It's the index of refraction of the medium you're starting out in, which is usually air, unless you're underwater, I guess. And then you divide that by the medium of, or the index of refraction of the object that you're going into, which is glass. And here we're going to use a value of 1.5. All right, so let's switch back to Unreal. And we're just going to come over here to our specular value, and we're going to give it a default of 0.667, which is the correct value for going from air to glass. And instead of specular, I'm going to rename this to refraction. Now we'll be able to play around with this value a little bit once we get into looking at this object in context. All right, let's continue with our shader. We have a roughness parameter of 0, and I'll show you what that does in the editor as well. Next we have opacity, and it's set to a default of 0.3, but on the edges, using the Fresnel term to determine the edges, we're going to get a value that's multiplied by 2. So on the edges we'll get a value of 0.6. Now actually, I'm going to delete this multiply here and just add a hard-coded constant of 1, so that our glass will be completely opaque on the edges and more transparent toward the middle. I just think that's a little bit more realistic in my opinion. The other thing that I like to do is change our Fresnel exponent. I want this value to be 0.3, just so that we get a little bit more opaque areas around the edges, contrasted with our transparent objects, or transparent surface in the middle. All right, then we have our normal map that's been custom made specifically for that statue. And then down here we have a little bit of code or a little bit of a few shader nodes that are doing our refraction. Now the important thing to know here is that this refraction pin, when we're doing ray trace transparent objects, this refraction pin is going to get ignored. So we're actually using refraction right here with the specular pin instead of down here with the refraction pin. It's a little bit counterintuitive, but it's just an important thing to keep in mind. All right, so now we're going to save our material and switch back over to our scene. And so right now we're just using traditional refraction techniques that aren't as accurate as ray tracing. And in order to see this ray traced, we need to switch over here to our post-process volume. And I'm going to come down here to translucency. And you can see translucent objects are currently rendering with rasterization. And I'm going to drop this down and pick ray tracing. And immediately you see something that looks super cool. Wow. I'm just going to rotate around this a little bit. Oops, let me select it and focus with the F key. This is pretty neat looking. And one other nice side benefit of turning that on is now we have ray traced reflections in our windows, which is also kind of cool. We're going to focus on this object for now. And the first thing I want to do is pull up our instance material and take a look at some of these settings. I'm just going to tear this off and drag it over here so that we can tweak these settings and watch what happens as they change. All right, so you can see here, first I've got opacity, and the opacity is set to 0. I'm just going to set this to 1, and we get a completely opaque object. It looks kind of like a chrome statue now. But if we set this to 0, you can see that there's actually some reflection and refraction going on as we see through it. The next thing that we have here is our refraction value, but before that I want to jump down here and take a look at metallic. So in the material itself, we have the metallic value set to 0.9. And personally, I think that's a little bit too high for reflections. If we turn it all the way down to 0, we get very few reflections. And I want to kind of go with a happy medium. So I'm going to set this value to 0.5, not negative 0.5, just positive 0.5. And that way we get some reflections, but they're not overpowering. All right, the next thing that we're going to look at is refraction, and I can just kind of dial this down, and you can see the distortion reduce as I go lower and lower, and that's pretty cool. And it actually flips around the other way Actually, it doesn't flip around the other way when we go negative. It just clamps and we can see through the object without any distortion at all. But once we get above 0, we get some nice refraction. And of course we know we calculated our index of refraction at 0.667, so that's what we're going to stick with here. Alright, then we have our roughness value, and you can turn this up to get more rough results, but we have a cutoff of 0.2, so if I go above 0.2, I'll stop getting ray traced reflections. Personally, for glass, I think it looks best if you just leave roughness at 0, so you can get nice, smooth-looking glass results. Alright, let's take a look at some of the parameters that are available for tweaking the effect on the post-process volume. Just like we did with reflections, we have the same kind of settings here for translucent objects. And keep in mind, these settings are applying to both reflection and refraction. So I have max roughness, and I can turn that all the way up to 1 if I want to totally kill the performance, but that will give me nice blurry looking reflections, or I can just set it to 0.2 for a nice compromise between cool looking results and good performance. The next thing that I have here is max refraction rays, and I'm just going to set this to 0 to start with. And you can see that our objects completely disappear, and that's because we're not casting any rays at all. If I cast 1 ray, you can see that my statue now looks like it's completely opaque, and that's because my ray is hitting the surface, and once it hits, there aren't any additional rays that it's allowed to cast, but it needs to go, in order for us to see through the statue, the ray has to hit the surface, and then we need to cast more rays to be able to see what's through it on the other side. So in order to do that, I need to raise my value here. And so we're going to set it to a value of 2. And now we can see a little bit of translucency, a little bit of refraction, but I'm just going to keep raising this a little at a time. 3 works really well because my ray goes to the surface, hits the surface and goes through it, and then comes out the other side. So probably 3 is the best balance between good looking results and performance. Now as I keep going up, you can see there are some areas of the statue where the ray actually hits more things, and so I need, in order to get more accurate results, I need more and more refraction rays. So I can keep turning this up, but at a certain point I get diminishing returns. So probably a value of 3 is the best for this in terms of just cost versus quality. Alright, just like reflections, I have a samples per pixel value here, and I can turn this way up if I want to totally kill performance, but I'm just going to leave it where it is for now. Next we have shadows, and you can see I've got them disabled, but you can also use hard shadows or area shadows, and I think disabled is probably the best bet for good performance. And finally we have refraction. So if I turn off our refraction, you can see right through our object with no distortion at all. This is obviously cheaper, but it's not giving me that cool refractive effect. Alright, that's it for our settings for ray traced translucent objects, mostly dealing with reflections and refractions. Now this is really cool because what we're actually doing here is simulating the behavior of light. And this is just super exciting for me. I can't wait for games to come out that actually use this because it's just such cool eye candy. If I were to create this exact scene and place a sculpture like this in real life, we would get refraction that looked very similar to this because the ray tracing is actually simulating what refracted light actually does. And that's just super cool. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to the channel to show your support. And I'll see you next Thursday with a brand new video. See you next week, everybody.